If you've spent any time looking at welding gear, you know the biggest question isn't how many amps does it have, but will this machine actually fit into my shop, my garage, or even the backyard project I'm trying to finish without breaking the bank? The truth is you want something that starts up reliably, stays reliable day after day, and feels like a sensible investment the moment you plug it in. That's why the hesitation around a multi-process unit like the Lincoln Power MIG 215 MPI can feel so real. There's a lot of promise on the spec sheet, but the real test is whether the day-to-day experience lives up to that promise. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. When I dug into what people actually say about this welder, the first thing that stood out was the balance it tries to strike. Lincoln markets it as a one-pack solution. You can MIG, Flux-Cored, stick, and even do DC-TIG without swapping out major components. For a hobbyist who jumps between a few small projects, a metal art piece one weekend, a repair job the next, having that flexibility without buying a separate machine for each process can be a genuine money saver. At the same time, you're buying a machine that promises to work on both 120V household circuits and 230V shop outlets, so you won't be forced to upgrade your wiring just to get the power you need. Who should consider this unit? Think of the home shop owner who already has a decent set of MIG wires and maybe a stick electrode stash, but has never tried TIG because the gear seemed too specialized. The Power MIG 215 MPI includes a built-in TIG solenoid and even ships with a foot pedal adapter, meaning you can start experimenting on a thin-walled stainless part without adding a whole new TIG rig to your bench. If you're a small business owner who does a mix of light fabrication, think automotive brackets, custom frames, or occasional pipe work, the ability to switch processes on the fly can keep your workflow from stalling. You'll also appreciate the ergonomic case with multiple lift points. It's designed for a single person to move it from a garage shelf to a job site with relative ease. On the other side of the coin, this isn't the machine for a professional welder who needs high amperage, heavy-duty stick performance, or a dedicated TIG system for aerospace-grade welds. The 215 MPI's max output sits around 200 A, which is plenty for thin sheet metal and hobby projects, but will start to feel constrained if you regularly tackle inch plate or need deep penetration on thicker stock. Likewise, if you already own a high-end TIG unit with advanced pulse controls, you'll find the DC-TIG on this model simple and functional, but not a replacement for those specialized features. So, the sweet spot is clearly the serious DIYer or small shop operator, not the full-time production line. Now, let's talk about the practical strengths that show up when you actually fire it up. First, the dual input voltage flexibility eliminates a common headache. I've seen people set up a welder on a 120V circuit only to discover it can't sustain the arc they need, then scramble for a transformer or a whole new outlet. With the Power MIG 215 you can start on a standard wall plug for light work, then plug into a 230V source when you need the extra bite for thicker material, and the machine automatically adjusts. The transition is seamless, no need to reconfigure settings beyond the voltage selector. The ready-set weld technology also deserves a mention. Lincoln built in a series of preset parameters that suggest optimal voltage, wire feed speed, and gas flow based on the thickness and type of metal you select. For a beginner, that's a lifesaver. You don't have to guess whether a 0.025-inch MIG wire needs 12V or 14V, the machine nudges you in the right direction, and you can fine-tune from there. In practice, I found the recommendations hit the mark within a couple of adjustments, which shaved off the usual trial-and-error time that many newbies waste on the bench. The wire drive is surprisingly robust for a unit in this price range. Feeding thin MIG wire can be a choke point for many entry-level welders, especially when the drive rollers wear out quickly. The Power MIG 215 uses a reinforced drive system that kept the wire feeding smoothly even after a full day of continuous MIG work on a car roll cage frame. No snags, no wire bite that stops the arc mid-weld. That kind of reliability translates directly into less downtime and fewer frustrations when you're on a deadline. ArcFX technology offers visual feedback on the screen, showing how changes in voltage or wire speed impact the arc. It's not a substitute for a seasoned eye, But for someone still learning the relationship between parameters and bead shape, the instant visual cue can accelerate the learning curve. When I adjusted the voltage upward by a few volts, the ArcFX display immediately highlighted a broader arc length, and I could see the bead widen before even laying down metal. That real-time data helped me avoid over-penetration on thin aluminum panels. Where the machine shows.